to Jake HARO and LATOSHIA Daniels. Let's start with Mr. HARO. As most of you know, there's been just crazy conversation, 25 to life. Take the poll on my community page if you feel like that's a fair sentence. Should it have been the death penalty? Should it have been automatic life? Weigh in on that said situation. The flip side of his plea is that his wife, Rebecca, is still sticking with her not guilty plea. So how do you feel about one parent pleading guilty and another parent saying they're not guilty? What do you think happened with Rebecca when she goes to court? Is she going to change her mind and plead not guilty? Try to get a lesser charge? Tell me, how do you feel about both? One has been found guilty or is guilty, and he's gotten a 25 to life sentence for this baby. What is sad is that no one has revealed where the baby can be located. It's no telling where the child is, the condition of the child's remains. And it goes to show what's out here, just deviant people who have no business having children, let alone rearing children. He already has a previous case of abusing his girl child who has serious complications from abuse by Mr. Jake HARO. Okay? You're talking about a child who can't talk, can't see. I don't believe she can walk. I mean, what type of life can that be for a child or anyone? It's not a life. It's just basically breathing. LATOSHIA Daniels. This case is coming out of Memphis, Tennessee. African-American female was having an affair with a pastor, and everyone's got their opinion of this case. She's not revered by some people in a great light because she's having an affair with a married man. She was also married. She testified that she wasn't getting what she needed out of her marriage. Now, many of you may say, well, she should have divorced her husband, then went on out there and did what she wanted to do. Same for the pastor. I think he was probably having affairs with different women because it seemed like it was just so easy for him to pull this woman into his fold. And then he was talking to her about this non-monogamy BS, and allegedly wanted his wife and her to have a threesome, but she wasn't on board. You don't really know if the wife knew that this is what he wanted. And the fact that he was smoking cigars, going to cigar lounges, drinking bourbon. I don't know what type of pastor is drinking alcohol and smoking cigars. I don't think that would be seen as a good role model as a pastor, smoking any type of smoking product and also drinking alcohol. How are you going to lead the flock to do better and be better if you're out here doing worldly things? You can't. And that's one thing that I think is sad about the situation with LATOSHIA, unaliving him and also shooting his wife. The wife survived. She claimed she didn't mean to do it on purpose. She was going there to kill herself, blah, blah, blah. You're entitled to want to believe. But he is the one I have the problem with, is because he's supposed to be a man of faith. He's supposed to be a man of God. He's supposed to be, as I said, leading the flock. He's up here flirting with a woman, kissing her in the mouth, you know, during a counseling session. Next thing you know, they're wrapped up with each other. Then he's got her buying things, paying for trips, paying for gifts, or she was buying gifts on her own. But I think he wanted her to be this plaything, to get money from her. There was one instance where she testified that he got upset that he had committed what would be considered fraud through the church by a credit card. And I think the bill was like $2,500 and she only gave him $2,300. It just baffling to me, just hearing her testimony, why this man felt it was okay to even ask her for that lump sum of money on something that he did wrong. So see, this shows you the type of person he was. He was a fraudulent guy, okay? And I don't think it mattered if it was LATOSHIA or not. It was going to be somebody. That's one thing people need to know about crime and crooks and criminals. It's going to be somebody. They're going to use somebody, defraud somebody, unalive somebody. It just so happens it's somebody that you know. This man didn't care about he didn't care about LaTosha. The fact that he was, wanting her to be in these escapades with other females, his wife, he's wanting her to find a watcher. You're a married man and you're asking your mistress to go find a woman to watch you two have sex. And she didn't want to do that and she didn't participate, she said. Her testimony in court that she didn't do it. And sadly, it ended with this man being dead, murdered by her. She went to his home. The wife knew who she was. She let her in. They had small talk. One thing led to another, and she ended up shooting him. It's a wicked story. And it's the type of story that I always talk about on this network pertaining to not knowing people. You can date a person a month, a week, years, and you may never know what type of person you're dealing with. That he, let's say, him, your man is out here sleeping with other women, sleeping with men, hell, sleeping with kids, committing sexual assaults, lying, defrauding people, defrauding the church, lying to people, misrepresenting himself to the public, to his wife, to his children. Because you see, when you're lying to one, you're lying to all. And that's what a person who's having an affair needs to understand. A man, because she was also having an affair. You're not just cheating on your spouse, you're cheating on your child. Because the time you're spending with that other person, you're not with your children. Because I've heard people say that about a man. He's a good father, but his marriage ain't working out. Well, he can't be a good father if he's out gallivanting around with another woman and different women. How is he a good father? You're still a liar. You're still a liar and you're a cheat. And you can say all day, whoa, I love my kids. It's just, it ain't working out with my wife. But it doesn't matter. The time you spend with that other person, you are still away from your home. You're not being in that house. You're not being visible. So you're lying to your kid. If you lie to the wife and say, oh, I had a business meeting that ran over, or I got to go fly to Chicago to do this and this, you're still lying to your kids. Because that's the lie that she's getting ready to tell the children. Oh, daddy had to go to Chicago for a business trip, or daddy's working late tonight. He can't, make it to this or that, or, read you a bedtime story or which and so ever. Sorry about the lighting. You're lying to everyone because she's going to spend that lie to your kids, daddy, mommy, same thing. And sadly, this woman was, she read the note in court, thanking her mom for being a good mom. And obviously, I don't know if they were close, but she was thanking her mom and telling her and everyone that don't think of her as being selfish. She's doing what she thinks is best because she couldn't go on with her life. It was really sad listening to her words. And some of you may not think that she's being, forthright in her emotions. I do believe she was crying in court, sniffling a lot. She's having to go back in time because this was, several years ago. She's having to go back in time to reminisce on this love affair with this man who was a pastor, who was misleading his wife, the church, children. And I don't know if she really has remorse or not. I'm kind of like on the fence. I don't want to say yes, I think she's remorseful, but she seemed sad. Let me say that. She seemed tearful, sad about how she got herself in this mess to where she felt like allegedly she couldn't live without him. He kept her gun, because she had a gun that she had pulled out with him, some incident they had. Then she ended up going to get another gun because he had hid her gun in a cigar lounge storage locker. Some people may think it was deliberate. Take the poll on my community page. Do you think that homicide of Mr. Brodus Perry was a crime of passion or it was deliberate homicide? And also the shooting of the wife, was that also crime of passion, the heat of the moment, or she didn't know what she was doing because of the heat of the passion, heat of the event? I don't know. Or was intense? His wife, the wife lived. Did she go to the house that day to unalive herself in front of them, or she went there intentionally to kill the pastor and his wife. It's a wicked story, but it shows you how out of control you can get in dealing with relationships, feeling abandoned, feeling used. And that's what she said in court. She felt used by Brodus. And I do believe she was. She was used. Okay? Hello? Somebody got the wrong door. Sorry about that. I think the pastor used her, and I won't doubt that he used other women. I won't doubt that he had other affairs because he seemed comfortable in what he was asking her to do and playing like, oh, I need you to do this, getting upset with her. She also said he would deny her affection. So that shows me that he's a narcissist. And I would say he's probably a sociopath as well. He wants what he wants when he wants it. He doesn't get what he wants, then he'll deny you affection, sex, comfort. And if he did it to her, I would assume he did it to his wife. I won't doubt, as I said, that he's had affairs with other women. I could see that about this man. And I get it. There are two sides to a story. But to some degree, I did feel bad for her because I believe we have a lot of women, men too, who get wrapped up with people. And when you're needy and lonely and wanting affection from someone, you tend to do things that you know you shouldn't be doing, such as giving them money up front, buying them gifts, paying bills for them, loaning money to their friends, family, or giving money to friends and family, their children, doing too much too soon. And women need to understand this. You need to get to know the person before you start cooking dinner, cooking meals, giving gifts, sex as well, sex too soon. You get wrapped up, you get so wrapped up, immersed into this person that you lose yourself. And I think that's exactly what happened to LaToshia. Her world was Mr. Brodus. He was her everything. She made him her everything. They went on trips together. Even another pastor was involved in this affair. He's told her that anything was ever happened to him on a trip to contact this other pastor, and he would be the one. It's one thing that Brodus was a dirty pastor, but then another pastor knew that he was having an affair with her. And then he told her, had her invite another church member for events like, running, hiking, or something like that, to make it look like it's a regular trip. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's invite Susie so nobody will suspect anything between us. I was just listening to her testimony. I believe it was day before yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I was just amazed at how the lie just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And see, that's what happens when you lie. You tell one lie, you gotta tell another lie to cover up the last lie and the last lie. And then you gotta start keeping up with the lies. And so imagine if you're having an affair with this one and this one and this one, you gotta make sure you don't even call one of the women by another name. So I wonder, did her husband suspect that she was having an affair? Because you gotta remember, she was taking trips with the pastor. And she said she knew his itinerary. But at the end, I could say that he more than likely tired of LaToshia when he realized she wasn't doing what he wanted, which was getting into these, what's the word I'm looking for? A menage a trois. She wasn't willing to have a watcher or I guess participate with a woman, because I would want her to get down with a woman, okay? Because everybody does different things in these type of groupings where they have a third party. Might just be two women having sex with the man, but the two women don't have sex. I don't know. But I'm assuming he probably wanted the two women to have sex because most men do that requests a menage a trois. He tired of her. And when she had that incident with the gun, I think he got turned off. He got scared. He knew the relationship had gone too far down the rabbit hole. And he said to himself, I got to get rid of her. I got to cut her off because she's now going wacky for me. She's now pulling out guns, this and that, talk about killing herself, doing all this stuff. I can't trust her. So I believe when he took that gun from her, the first gun, and he hit that gun, he was done with her. And of course, he would tell her, you know, oh, I'll be in touch. I'll talk to you. I'll call you. He knew he was done with her. And a lot of men probably would be done with a woman once she threatens suicide or pulls a gun out on him and threatens to shoot him or shoot, you know, their mate. He already knows, okay, this woman is deep in and I can't have them trying to unalive me, my family, or she might want to go tell people, might want to go tell the church, blah, blah, blah. And he also ended up leaving his church and going to another church. And I do believe it's probably because of that incident of the money credit card. They had given him access to a card. But see, this just shows you that Broadus, the story is deeper than just him to lead the flock. And people are looking up to you for guidance, spiritual guidance, counseling. And you're, as I said, drinking, smoking cigars, hanging in a cigar lounge. When did you ever hear of a pastor hanging in a cigar lounge? I don't even hear a pastor smoking cigarettes, let alone cigars. So this shows me he wanted to be single. And I think that's what's said in testimony as well. He told his wife that he wanted to see what it would be like to be single. So I think he separated at one point. You know, I don't know if that much is true. This is just what she's repeating in court, what was told to her by him. But I won't doubt he told her all kind of lies. And that's the thing women need to understand, men too, that when a person is deceptive, you don't really know what's the truth. You only know if you can see it for yourself, witness it for yourself, or you get a little feedback from somebody else to say, well, no, that's not true, what he told you. And I don't know how many people she told about this affair, but she did have one good friend that lived in the Midwest that she was going to go stay with, but something happened to where she did end up going to stay with her so she could try to, you know, get her wits about herself and have her friend watch her so she wouldn't allegedly kill herself. But in the end, she ended up killing Brodus Perry and shooting his wife, Tabitha. And all these people were married. I want you to think about that. All these people knew of each other. All these people attended the same church. And all these parties were married. I don't know what the husband had to say about his wife, but imagine what he thought when he learned she killed the pastor. Because the first thing in his mind he'd have to be saying, why is my wife arrested for killing the pastor? Oh, she killed the pastor because she had been having an affair with him. So it's a double whammy, especially if he also attended church. Because I didn't watch the full trial. I just watched like an hour or so of her testimony, and I wanted to discuss that briefly with you all. Imagine what the husband was thinking when she made the phone call. Hi, I'm in jail. Hi, I need a lawyer. Hi, I need bond money. Can you imagine the conversation over a phone? Oh, well, you see, I'm in here because I was having an affair with the pastor, and I shot him and his wife, and he's dead. And I can see the husband saying, wait a minute. Oh, I'm gonna have to think about this bonding you out. But somebody bonded her out. I'm assuming. She looked nice in court, nice clothes. Maybe she didn't have a bond, I don't know, but she looked nice in court. She had regular clothes on and she had hair piece, like hair weave or whatever wig. And I don't think you get to wear wigs inside of jail if they allowed you to wear street clothes for court. You understand what I'm saying? The more I discuss these cases with you all, the more I live, I just feel like there's no hope for humanity. And I get it, we're all flawed, we all make mistakes, none of us are perfect. But in my own personal dealings with people, men specifically, even something that's happened to me recently, as of like today, yesterday, a few days ago, you can't trust people. But I remember something a man said to me. He was a friend of mine, and he a few years ago, something he said to me about this certain guy who I've had interaction with here recently. He said, why do you get mad when you have been bitten by a snake? Well, I had to think about that. He said, you know it's a snake, and you're expecting something different from a snake. Why would you? Exactly. So if you have already dealt with a snake, you've been bitten by the snake, what makes you think that you go back and play with the snake, that he or she won't bite you again? And that's a sad lesson that I keep having to learn, because I go back in, and I'm sure a lot of people have done this, go back in fooling with the person, knowing things weren't right when you started talking to them, dealing with them, or however things unfolded. When you start seeing the signs that something isn't right with this person, you go back in at some point in life and deal with them, expecting them to be different than when you last dealt with them. But it can't be different because they haven't changed and aren't willing to change. So the snake remains a snake. And I believe Mr. Perry, God rest his soul, he was a snake. I believe he probably bedded many women, used his authority as a pastor to get touchy-feely and build the confidence up in these women, and they felt compelled to continue to tell him things, confide, and also sleep with him when they had to know that was wrong. Whether they were married or not, he was married. Wife, family. And that's how many of us as people can get in a trap, getting too close to people, confiding in them, and then they reciprocate, acting like they care about us when really they don't. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a pastor. It could be just a male friend. It could be a male, and a woman is confiding in him, and then each starts looking at the other one a certain way, and next thing you know, you're in bed, you're kissing, so on and so forth. And then you start seeing signs that something ain't right. And this happens all the time when it's not a person being married, just dealing with another single person who don't have the SHIT together. And they're showing you signs that they ain't right. They're staying in trouble with the law, always in trouble, getting arrested, violating probation, parole, or they can't keep a job, or they're getting, arrested for DUIs, or you're catching them in lies. You got other women, babies, whatever the problem is. Can't keep income, can't keep a car, can't keep a place to live, but somehow you're attached to this person and you don't know why. See, loneliness is a dangerous thing. And I believe that's the reason why a lot of people have been caught up in a lot of drama dealing with the opposite sex, same sex. It's because possibly they weren't in the best place when they met a person, or they could have been in a good place, but they took a chance, as they call it, a leap of faith, and thought, okay, I'll get to know this person, see what they got going on. And they were misled. They were hoodwinked, bamboozled. They were lied to. Things didn't go well. Maybe that person went their way, you went your way, and then you meet back up again and you get suckered right back into that hole. Get sucked right back into that hole when you knew what they did the first time. And LaTosha had to sing the signs with the pastor. All that gift giving, then he's expecting her to pay for things, gifts, trips. She shouldn't have to pay for anything. It's bad enough she's having an affair with him. He's a pastor. They're all attending the same church. Wife, he, her, possibly her husband. You're meeting him in secret. They also had a secret app they talked to called Confide. So it was deep. And all of this sneaking around and sex and this and that and gift giving and money giving. What was it all for? Because one person is now dead. 17th for second degree of Mr. Broadus Perry. And I don't know what the judge is going to give her, how much time, if the judge will show her favor. weigh in, take the poll on my community page. Should the judge show her favor? Should she get a lesser sentence? Should she get 25 to life, 30 years? Weigh in. Was this a crime of passion, or was this intentional homicide? As I said, the point of the story is she lost her way. And whether she went there to kill herself or not, she did not kill herself, because she just attended court and was found guilty for second-degree murder of a pastor. You have to love yourself. And I tell people that all the time, and I don't take my own advice I give you all. And I can own that. I need to take the advice I give you. I need to love myself so I can quit going back in the hole with those I've had interactions with. And out the gate, it didn't go where it should have gone, which was positivity. And then I go back in, whether it be a week later, 5 months later, 6 months later, and nothing's changed. And as my friend said, who is no longer alive, why are you expecting a snake to be anything other than a snake? Exactly. It is what it is. It's not going to change because it is a snake. I want some of you to listen to LaTosHia Daniels' testimony in court, where she describes how she met Mr. Brodus Perry and how she got suckered into dealing with him and having an affair with him. And yes, I say suckered because she was suckered. She was sucker punched because he used her. And yes, she was wrong for having an affair with him. Because if you believe in the Bible, you know it's wrong to have an affair with a married person. And she knew that, and she treaded into that anyway. She was also married herself. But I think Brodus was searching for something, searching for himself, possibly searching for a single life, that he should have stayed single and not married his wife, Tabitha. LaTosHia was searching for something she wasn't getting from her husband, something she wasn't getting within herself. And she fell in a rabbit hole. And she shot a man to death and also shot his wife. And I'm telling you, that's a heavy price to pay for being deceitful and a liar and a manipulator, because I think Mr. Brodus, he was all those things when he was living. And the wife sadly got drug into this nonsense of being with an adulterer. I can't say what type of person Tabitha was at that time she was married, if she was a good or bad person. The point is, when you see that you are not getting what you want out your spouse, your mate, you need to go to that person and tell them, I'm not happy. I want a different type of sex. I want this, I want that. And you try to meet in the middle somewhere, but you don't go out here and pick up some strange kitty cat or ding dong because you're not getting what you want from your mate. And a lot of men tend to do that. If there are certain acts they want done sexually that the wife doesn't want to do, the girlfriend, then now you start thinking about finding somebody that'll do those things. Well, that's not going to solve your problem. You're just going to what? Have this outside chick who's turning all these tricks that you like, and then you're going to go home with the wife and girlfriend and play happy family. That's not going to work, because it's never worked, because somebody's going to get hurt and somebody's going to find out that they are not number one. And let me tell you, being number 2 and 3 doesn't feel good. And that's where violence comes in, as it did in this case here. Someone commented on one of my posts on news breaks, and they said she wanted him. Exactly. LaTosHia wanted what she couldn't have. And really, it's backwards, because what she's wanting, she's supposed to already have with her own husband. So we see, when I talk about a single woman messing with a married man, she was married herself. So how does a married woman end up having an affair with a married man who is also her pastor? It's very wicked. And I hope she's learned a lesson. I hope she's remorseful. I hope she has repented. And I hope that God has forgiven her, because we know that God does forgive all sins. All sins. Even the ones we think he shouldn't, but we're not God, and he will. Adulterer, murderer, liar, thief, coveter, gluttony, it's all the same. Listen to her testimony. Tell me what you think. Did she intentionally unalive Brodus Perry and shoot his wife Tabitha? Or did she see herself in a situation that she couldn't get out of? She didn't know how to get out of it. She didn't know how to leave him alone. And she just blanked out that day at that house. She had the weapon. Because I think a lot of people are probably going to say, Queen, she had no intention of killing herself. Because she could have done it at home. She could have done it in her car. She could have went in a park and unalived herself. Why did she need to go over there and unalive herself in front of this man and his wife? And that would be a very good question. I'm going to ponder on that, and I'll get back with you. Jake HARO has pled guilty to unaliving his baby son, 7-month-old Emmanuel. The child has not been found. He has received a sentence of 25 to life. Was that sentence correct? And LaToshia Daniels has been found guilty of second-degree murder of Pastor Brodus Perry and reckless endangerment by shooting his wife Tabitha. What will her sentence be December 17th? We will see, and I will bring you that said update. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. Follow me here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. If you find yourself in a predicament of caring for someone and you don't see that you're getting what you need, you're not being respected, you're not getting loved, nurture, comfort, there's no honesty, there's no respect, then bow out. I don't care if it's day 1, it's day 5, bow out, because you deserve better, because you're worthy. And you don't have to settle on being with someone, whether it's dating or in a marriage, and you're not happy. Now, I don't believe in just running off and getting a divorce if you're married, because you chose that person for a reason, but I still don't believe in being disrespected, even as a married person. And if you talk to the mate, he or she does not want to change, then yes, you need to get out of that marriage. And let me say, violence is not the answer, because you can't have someone. They don't want you, or they're not giving you what you think you deserve. Violence is not the answer, nor is unaliving yourself. Tell yourself that you're worthy. I deserve better. I'm going to get better. Don't sell your soul to the devil for just a bit of sex. Because if there's no respect, I think that's all you're doing is just having sex with somebody else. And you can get sex anywhere. And I think most of you as adults, you know that. And you need to teach your children that as well. Your body is a temple. And you don't want people just running over you, using you for your body, selling your body. You're worthy. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. Temperatures are going to be dropping here in East Tennessee. Going to be very cold the first of the week. Queen is finally getting ready to move again. I know. Hopefully this place will be much better amenities, and hopefully a lot quieter, because I can't do my lives properly with all the background noise. But thank you for following me here and on Newsbreak. And thank you for being on this journey with me here on YouTube. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful week. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.